Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Boy Meets Film interview series. Today we have Billy Campbell talking about their Scorpion lighting system from Blindspot. And welcome to the show.
Hey, buddy, how's it going? You all right?
I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for coming on and talking about your product.
Yeah, cool. Good to be here.
So before we jump right into the amazing lights that you have, why don't you kind of tell the people watching a little bit about who you are and kind of where you came from and what really made you want to do film?
Okay, right. Well, yeah, start with an easy one, why don't you? You know, uh, a bit about myself and why I wanted to go into film. Well, I'm the kind of the product of a documentary filmmaker as a father. So I was always growing up around filmmaking, and obviously growing up, you never want to do what your dad does. It's just like that's like rule number one. You know, you want to rebel against everything. So I went off and did music, and went off in these kind of like mad tangents, and thought about doing different careers everywhere. And somewhere along the way, I don't know, in my teens, you started picking up cameras and picking up little bits of things, and suddenly you learn this whole craft and telling stories and what you can actually achieve with films, and the kind of learning of juxtaposing one image and another image, and you create the third image, and it's just absolutely magic when it all falls together. So that's really where I kind of went, and went to film school and did quite well out of that and won some awards, and then I've been a documentary cameraman since, doing BBC documentaries, Channel 4, just kind of standard UK stuff all over the world. So I've been very, very privileged. And that leads us to where we are now, I guess. So from that, becoming a manufacturer of film lights, which is Blindspot, which is obviously why I'm here speaking to you.
Yeah.
So the gap in the market, I guess, if you want to say that, it's a kind of coined expression, was just a portable, super flexible, and much more intuitive lighting system than what I found I was working with all the time. Trying to plug into walls, leading out extension cables everywhere, connecting things onto lighting stands, and the whole world's a lighting stand. If you could just plug things and connect things to anywhere and just create light sources wherever you go from a simple suitcase or a case, life would just be so much easier. So that's essentially what we've done.
Yeah. So you kind of created this product knowing that this is what you wanted to use and you wanted to share it with everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. It really was a need that I wanted to do, a need that I had. So I think sometimes those are the best creations, born out of necessity.
Yeah.
So hopefully, well, luckily, actually, other people are seeing as the same. There's always that dreaded fear that you create something, and like you, if your films or something, and you're like, oh, I'm going to share it to the world now, and then your feedback's like, wow, it's all right, but it's not that great. So luckily, the first reviews that have been coming in, because there's only about, I don't know, 150 sets in the world or something now, and just people are absolutely loving them, which is just great. They're loving them for the reasons why we thought they would love them. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I think that I've watched a few videos, and obviously I've been on your site, and I remember seeing the original Kickstarter, because you did crowdfunding through Kickstarter when you went initially, and I remember seeing that and thinking, wow, that's just the concept it's simplistic in nature, because you'd think someone would have thought of that before, but it's also like mind-blowing as well, because just it's one of those things where, why didn't I think of that? One of those things where you kind of took the idea of being able to use anything as a like you say, a light stand, being able to mount it on a ceiling, or clamp it on a table, or anywhere, or rocks as far as that goes, or outside, and then you took that and just kind of ran with that, and also the fact that it's highly flexible, which is amazing, so it's easily positionable, and battery powered, which is huge. So as far kind of leading into that, can you kind of tell the viewers a little bit about the lights themselves and kind of how they work and what they're made of and stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, they are, like you're saying, an extremely flexible, portable, and affordable lighting solution. So you got 4 lights in the case, and they're all on a gooseneck arm, with the head, the source, and they go into a clamp. So super clamp, standard kind of super clamp, and you can clamp that onto anything, attach it in, battery power it, and you've got an instant light source, really anywhere. But I think it's more kind of to the core belief of what I think about filmmaking, is that it's just everybody should be able to make a film. Luckily, it's not in the situation it was 10, 15 years ago. You had to have 16 millimeter, and it costs like, I mean, my graduation film it cost thousands of pounds because we shot it on 16 mil because that was the option, and it was hellishly expensive. And that's not even that long ago. You know, I'm still consider myself like a relatively young man. You know, so the whole gambit has changed, which is great. Everybody should be able to pick up a camera and pick up lights and go out and create stuff. And we just want to be able to be the lighting manufacturer that people can pick up, use, and start lighting stuff and start creating content and making films, because you can really affect change with film. So. Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent.
Oh no,
there.
that's fine. Tangents are good. I always think of tangents as just little nuggets of information that you kind of lead off the beaten path to see. So the lights are they can be battery powered. What kind of battery? Like how long does the battery last if you're going to use the battery? And are they rechargeable?
Yeah. So it's kind of hard facts, I guess. They're Sony NPF batteries. So we sell them. There's 2,600 milliamps, the one that we do. So they're quite high capacity, but you can pick them up on eBay or Amazon for super peanuts. So again, just wanted it to be flexible, and so it could work. So systems already out there. You recharge them. The lights run for about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half on a full charge, which is really cool. So you can get 8 of them in the case, or you can get a rucksack full of them and go off to weird and wonderful locations and light for ages. What else? I mean, they come with 1/4-inch threads, so you can attach it straight to the top of your camera.
Yep.
And the great thing is, when it's a top light, you can offset it to the side of the camera and actually get a slightly 3/4 light.
Yep.
And you can dim it as you're going. So if someone comes closer, you can just dim it as you go. And then the Roscoe gels, so you can just magnets. You can just put your gels right in front of the light source and then change the color of it, which is very cool.
Yeah. So when I was looking at it, I was just thinking, this is amazing, especially for people with a small crew, or even that shoot alone, even because it's super compact, it's easy to set up, and it's in a matter of 10, 15 minutes, you could literally have an entire interview set up with all your lights done and everything already set up. In fact, less than that, depending on what you're using for lighting. And you could do it in the middle of nowhere. You could do it in the middle of the woods, and you could have perfect lighting, and you don't have to worry about power. I know that's one thing that I always worry about, is I have to make sure that I have power wherever I'm going, because if I don't have power, I'm not going to have lights. That part's huge. And anything else that other solution for lighting in an area with no power is extremely expensive. Whether you're talking about generators, and when you've got generators, you have to pay the extra because you don't want the noise, so you have to have a silent generator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and there's
other the operator,
right? Exactly.
You gotta have the fuel.
Yeah, and
you gotta have the truck to carry them.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's compact, which is amazing, and it comes in a case. Is that right?
Yeah, it comes in the hard case, so you can just rock up, chuck it in the back of the car, or you can even take public transport with it. It's that portable, so you can have your rucksack with your camera, lens, little tripod, and just rock up. But it's like that. Saying that beforehand, I think there's a Francis Ford Coppola. He said something like, "One day, any little fat girl from Ohio will be able to make a film." I don't know why he picked on Ohio and a little fat girl, but that's just the way he saw the world, maybe. Yep. And this is. We're in that day now, for like the Blackmagic Pocket cameras, $500, $700 or something. Yeah. Our lighting set's about the same, so you can just peanuts, and you can just rock up and start creating these things.
Yeah, I think that's
so cool.
Yes, it's amazing, and I think that's one thing that you guys have hit so well with this product, is because a lot of filmmaking products are moving in that direction, more accessible to people. One thing that isn't so much, I mean, you can get the cheap knockoff lights, which are good for studio work, but don't necessarily hold up moving from location to location. And if you want to get a good set of lights, or if you want to make sure that your lighting's right, you're going to pay a decent amount of money. But I think that's one thing that you guys have kind of caught, that niche before anybody else, especially with this product, because you can get your camera for, like you said, peanuts, and you can use that, but you still need to be able to have that professional lighting set up. And with this product, you've kind of hit that. So you get 4 high quality, high powered lights that are going to easily be able to let you set up just about anything you could possibly do. And one of my favorite parts about the whole thing is the magnets and the gels. I think the way that you design that, I mean, it's so you could look at it and it's this the concept is just there. You could figure it out on your own, but the fact that you're marketing it as that, it's amazing because it's just, you know, color temp is so easy to switch. You don't even have to worry about how you're going to attach it. Just pop a couple magnets on and there it is.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. And again, it's like it's kind of adding value in front of the lens.
Right.
You know, everyone's always wants, you know, we'll shoot it in a studio or we'll get a big actor or something. You know, you're always trying to add value to what you're creating. And there's easy ways of that. Well, first of all, lighting just adds value. You know, adds dramatic context and kind of texture to your image. And then just color using gels. You know, putting a bit of magenta for a kick light, or a bit of straw, or red or something for an eye light. It can just add so much different elements and really make your image stand out. So it's cool.
It is very cool. I think you've as we've been going, you've been answering questions along the way as you're talking. So I'm running out of questions here.
Don't worry, man.
Let's see. So I guess. At least one more thing is where can people go to get more information? And we'll start with that, and then if I think of any more questions before you get done talking about this, then I'll ask them. But like, where can people go to get more information or to pick up a set of these?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got a pre-stock sale at the moment where you buy a set of 4 and you actually get 2 free lights, so you end up with 6 lights. Oh, okay. Which is, you know, even better. Which is a very cool thing. So they do that on our website, which is blindspotgear.com. And more information's on there. Obviously, you can get all the info. We've got tons of tutorials and kind of demo videos, and that's something we've been keen to do as well. Doing tutorials to help, just not teach people how to light. 'Cause obviously, that's a near impossible thing. You have to observe the world to be able to kind of understand that. But just to show examples of how you can use lights and how you can kind of help make your image stand out and look a bit better. Yeah. And we did a great thing actually. With Seamus McGarvey. We haven't released it yet. It's an interview with Seamus McGarvey, who's the DOP of Godzilla, the Avengers Ensemble, Atonement, The Hours. We Need to Talk About Kevin. Some really, really fantastic films, especially Atonement and The Hours, I think, there. And Anna Karenina, stunning. So that's something we're really keen to do, interview these kind of hard-hitting cinematographers who are just so passionate about the craft. Yeah, it's so cool. So yeah, hopefully they'll be coming out soon. So I finished a whole day of work here. I'm kind of like my brain's a bit fried already. It's nice to talk about fun things. Yeah. So the question was where to find out more information. Sorry, total deviation. Oh, yeah, blindspotgear.com.
So what I try to do kind of near the end, what I like to do is move away from like the interview kind of questions, just ask questions like passion projects. What's something that you do that you aspire to do? You know what I mean? I know you said you do a lot of documentary stuff, but what's the thing that really kind of holds your attention and you're always looking to do as far as your filmmaking goes? Right. Well, that's kind of a hard question.
No, it's not. It's not really. I think everyone should have an understanding of what their kind of core beliefs are and their kind of moral, their kind of core morals. I think at the moment where I'm situated and the position I have with being a director of the company, and I think it's trying to encourage people to make films. That's really what I'm passionate about. Just to keep on encouraging everyone, no matter where you're from, what your background is, how much money you've got, or where you stand in society, is just to go out and tell your story, because everybody has stories. Everybody's parents have stories. Their grandparents. You're always told stories from when you're a kid, and just go out and try and harness it, because it's such an important thing, filmmaking, not just in terms of story and in terms of change it can do, especially in terms of with documentaries. But in business, if you know how to make a film and can, stick it together, you're going to be so much more employable. So, for that kind of element, I want more and more people just to pick up cameras and start creating stuff. There'll be a time when people's CVs are just video links. Yeah. I'm sure of it. It'll just be a 3-minute pitch about yourself, and that'll be your CV. Yeah. It's all going to be like that. So the more people we can encourage to it, the better. I think that film is one of those things that transcends
a lot of barriers, and I know that's kind of cliched to say that, but I think that it's extraordinarily true. And I think the more films that people are involved with and make, or the more people that aspire to create, especially create. So that's why I love filmmaking, is because you have the ability to create whatever you want, essentially, whether that's a documentary piece to tell a story that way, or if it's a narrative piece. You have the ability to create an environment and to immerse people in your story and to really get them to feel what you feel and what you are passionate about. And I think that that's because filmmaking is able to do that. It's great that you want to encourage other people to do that, because I know there's some people out there that are very protective of the market, and they say, well, we don't want to flood the market with these people because that's what we do. Why would I want to encourage somebody to come and do this when they could possibly take my job? When I think that everybody should be able to do it because it's so fulfilling. I mean, just the ability to create something and to release it and have people be able to feel what you're feeling or to see what you're passionate about is so fulfilling.
Yeah.
So I think
you can't live in a world of fear. You know, if you're worried someone's going to come and take your job, you're just going to have a miserable existence.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to embrace that change always happens, and in 10 years' time, I'm probably going to be out of a job for some reason or other because someone else has come and shifted around. But you know, and also the thing that's so important with film is it's a collaborative exercise, and you know, in a world where you know we communicate through Facebook and Twitter, and all our friends are 2-dimensional and not 3-dimensional anymore. It's a great way of bringing people together and just having a laugh. You know, because I mean, let's be honest, of all the kind of however many 100,000 DSLRs have been sold for people to make, you know, videos with that intention, how many of them are going to get paid to make a film?
Yeah.
You know, probably a very small percentage of them, but that's not the point. The whole point is to come together, create stuff, you know, and just enjoy it, enjoy the whole process.
Yeah.
If you can make money out of it as well, and that's what you want to do, then sweet, you know, that's a double bonus.
Yeah. I think that's what people forget, is they become so enamored with pushing themselves to make money doing this, which is a good aspiration, because if that's what you want to do and that's the career path you want to try to take, then that's great. But they get to the point where they're pushing themselves so hard to make that they are no longer enjoying what they're doing. That would be a very sad day to not enjoy being able to do the creative things that I do. And there's always obviously going to be hard times when you're doing something, because nothing's going to be easy. But if you, at the end of the day, if you can't sit down and say, that was at least enjoyable in a way that I learned something, or it was stressful, but you know, we got a lot done. If you can't sit down and say that, then there's something wrong. Yeah.
But I mean, that's not just unique to the film industry. That's kind of a thing that kind of crops up as soon as you try and go professional. So one way to kill a passion is go professional.
Which is one reason I think that a lot of people are better off staying independent and doing stuff that they're passionate about, because nothing wrong with, like, it would be great fun to work on a large budget, you know, Hollywood blockbuster movie. I would, if I ever offered the ability to do something like that, I probably wouldn't pass it up. But
course, yeah.
being able to do something you're passionate about and being able to do it on your terms is what makes it enjoyable. So you and 5 buddies, you know, and being able to you know, film all day and then have a beer at the end of it. Life doesn't get much better. Right, exactly.
You know, if you had a Hollywood crew, you've got some serious responsibility.
Yes,
and that'd be pretty stressful. Yeah, and I think there's also a weird culture at the moment with kind of film blogs and about kind of gear envy and all that kind of, you know, it's sometimes it becomes a lot about the how and not as opposed to the why. I think it should always be, you know, why is it you're doing it, not necessarily how you're doing it. You know, a camera is just a camera. It doesn't matter if it's an FS7 or an A7 or a F5 or a Blackmagic. It's just a camera. It is, you know, it's the story that counts. Yeah. Lights are just lights, and I don't want to, you know, obviously I want to sell as many lights as I can because it's my business. But if you can create things just using kind of bare bones, then great.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think that's we've kind of, with the changing tide of affordable equipment, we've kind of got this whole thing where something new comes out every year, obviously. I mean, they have the big conferences every year. Well, you were just at didn't you guys go over?
NAB.
Yeah, NAB, and there's a ton of great stuff there, but it's very easy to look at it and say, well, my camera or my lenses are a year or two old. This isn't the newest thing, but of course that's the way it is with everything. I mean, you got a cell phone, it's the same way. Or if you've got a computer, it's the same way. You have to, I think that's the one thing people need to get to the point where they're happy with the things that they have. And as long as they're adequately working.
Yeah, come on. When is humanity ever going to be happy with the things we have?
I know. That's
just not in our DNA.
No, it's human nature. And I love looking at gear just as much as the next guy. And there is times when I'm like, wow, I'd love to have that. But I've gotten to the point now where I'd rather concentrate on the story and try to, like, I have an FS100 for my primary camera. It's a great camera. It's 4 or 5 years old now or something like that. I can't remember when it first came out, but it's an adequate camera and I love using it. Have I looked at the FS700 when it came out? Of course. The FS7, or obviously the red cameras that everybody's always talking about. There's a lot of great gear out there, but I just have fun messing around with and using the one that I have because that's what I have. And I think some people get on the point where they're so focused on getting that next piece, they don't even use the piece that they have.
Yeah.
But
so it's always remembering where you started,
Yeah.
And you probably started the same way I did, stealing your old man's little handy camera. You go and take it out of the drawer and disappear for 2 days.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Yeah. Well,
making a film.
we had the my younger brother and I. We had the always wanted a camera. We used it whatever we could. Eventually, we finally bought or were given our own big VHS camcorder.
Yeah, big shoulder mount.
Yeah.
Little dodgy eyepiece you couldn't see anything through.
Yeah, and we beat that thing to death. We just used it nonstop, just making the oddest, and I still have some of the tapes. It's fun to go back and watch, but it's just the worst thing you could stuff I'd never want anybody to see. But
it was such a great camera because it was instant gratification because you go out and film and then you go back home, eject it, stick it in the VCR and playback, and it's just instant. It was so cool.
Cut it in camera because you have to stop it and make sure that you stop it at the right time. And sometimes you'd have to run over to the camera and stop the camera and you rewind it just a tad so that it was just the right spot.
Yeah, exactly. But just tons of hard cuts everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. But wow, it's really been a great time talking to you. I love your product, and it's creative, and I think it can make a big difference in the ease of use especially for lighting. Lighting is people that don't pay attention to lighting don't know anything about filmmaking really, because regardless of who you are and what you have access to, obviously the sun is the biggest light you're ever going to have, and bouncing that can make a big difference, or even just using household lights. But I think that lighting and sound are probably the two most important parts about filmmaking. And I think that lighting may actually, in my opinion, lighting edges out sound. Even though you need sound, I think that if you don't have it lit, then you're not going to write correctly. You're not going to be able to hold people's attention, because you can always do a film and then have background music if you don't have access to audio equipment. I've done that in the past, and I know a lot of people that they don't have any mic equipment, so they'll make a film that's just music.
Kind of montage,
Right, which is fun to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that lighting still comes into that, and the fact that you guys have created this very affordable and very versatile equipment that is so different than anything else out there is just amazing.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for being on here. Again, the website, if you could just give our viewers the website one more time, just so that we can...
Oh, yes, of course. So you can find us at blindspotgear.com. Also, we're on Facebook, Facebook.com/blindspotgear, and Twitter at blindspotgear.
Perfect. And then also do make sure I've watched your tutorial videos and everything you have for videos on your site and stuff, and make sure you watch those too, because they're awesome. And that's the cool thing, is a lot of companies, they'll release a product, but they won't necessarily show you what it does or how it does it. And I love that you guys are doing that, because even before anybody else gets their hands on it and reviews it, you've given these videos so that people can see how they work. And it's really cool that you've done that. It's like you said, it's not a tutorial on how to light. It's just a kind of a tutorial on how your lights work and what you can do with them. And I think that's a really big help. So definitely check those out. Thank you very much for being on here.
Nice one. Cheers, Matthew.
Thank you.